Hey, welcome to Cardboard in the Rough. I'm Justin, and today I'm going to talk about some games that I played at TokenCon last Friday and give you a rundown of what I thought of the convention. So, TokenCon, if you don't know, is a board game convention in Oklahoma City. This was their fifth year, I believe, and I was able to go on Friday. Didn't make it to Saturday or Sunday, but had a good time and wanted to walk you through my games. I should note that these games are not necessarily the ones available in the library. I was fortunate enough, I have a coworker that met me at the convention, and he has a friend that has an extensive board game collection who brought some. Actually, he brought quite a few games. All I brought was QE, but we mostly played games out of his collection. So these don't represent what was available in the library. I took a glance at the library. I'll talk about that in a minute. So we'll just jump right in with the games, starting with Glory to Rome. This is a grail game for some people, so it was nice to be able to play it without having to pay $200 or whatever the game is going for now. And I'm glad I got the chance to play it. I don't know that it's a game for me. It's a multi-use card game, tableau builder, kind of. I've played other Carl Chudik games like Innovation and Motainai. Generally, I think his games have a bit too much randomness for my taste. And it might be something where if you play it enough, you know how to mitigate the randomness, but I haven't stuck with any of his games long enough to figure that out. So, this one's. I would play it again. I definitely would. I liked it more than Motainai, which is sort of a spiritual successor to Glory to Rome. There's a whole story. I'm sure you can dig in and find out about why it's so expensive and the legal issues that it's in. But yeah, I'm not gonna go hunting for it and trying to buy it. But if I get another chance to play it, I would play it again. And then we played Hello Sharks. So my coworker's friend that had all of the games. This is a game that he designed a year or two ago and has been slowly iterating on. So it's a prototype game. And so we played it and gave him some feedback on his latest changes. This was the first time I had played it. We played it at 5 players, and it was a bit slow. It's a set collection game themed around pitching or selling your business to investors like on Shark Tank. And I was actually pretty impressed with the game for what it was. It's a fairly quick card game. It was not anything crazy. It felt more like a game that was developed and polished than even some of the ones that I play tested at Gen Con several years back. So I was impressed. It was fun. I don't know if it's ever going to make it to a production run or anything, but if it ever does, check it out. So then we played QE, which is quantitative easing. Basically, it's a game about different governments bailing out businesses during the 2008 financial crisis. You more or less get a blank check to pay whatever you want for the businesses that are failing, and it's a set collection game. You're trying to collect sets of these businesses to get points. And the trick to the whole thing, though, because it's a blank check, you can write however much you want on there. So why wouldn't you just win every single auction and just continue upping the amount of money? Well, the person who the person who spends the most money is out of the running to win the game. So you have to walk this fine line between spending too much and not spending enough. Love it. It has been a phenomenal game. Every time I've played it, I cannot recommend it enough. All right, so then we played Architects of the West Kingdom, which I have played once before. I don't know how I've made it this long, and I've only played that game once. I will probably find this and play it again. I really liked it. It's a game, I don't want to say worker placement because most of the spaces are open, and I think worker placement tends to imply that once you take a space, it is unavailable to the other players. That might be an interesting video. Let me know if you think so. Talking about different board game mechanics and what they actually mean. But on this one, there are a lot of action spaces. You place your meeple down, and when you place your meeple, they stay there. And the more meeple you have at a location, the more stuff you get from that location. So, like the quarry, you get um, I don't remember if it's one stone plus one for each of your meeple or if it's just one per meeple there. But anyway, you build them up, and the trick to the whole thing, the tension, is that there is also a mechanism to capture workers and put them in jail. So if someone has too many workers on one spot, you can round them up, put them on your board, and then eventually put them in jail, make some money in doing so. Um, and I really like that tension. Sometimes you want to get a lot of resources, but then you don't want to put your meeple on a location because you're afraid that someone will round them up and put them in jail. And that tension is a lot of fun. So I enjoyed that. All right, game number 5 is vegetable stock. For me, this was the hidden gem of the convention. We played this at 4 players, and it is a really small box card game that we both learned and played in maybe 10 minutes. It was so quick. It is a really simple drafting game. So you have 5 different vegetables that have differing values of what their price, starting at 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I think no, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And you deal some cards out that have different vegetables on them, and you go around and draft them. And at the end of the game, you multiply the number of vegetables you have by how much they are worth on that stock market. And so, aside from that being a fun pun in the name, it had a good amount, I think, of player interaction. Looking around, seeing what people had, seeing what's left, trying to. Oh, this is important. If whatever is left, because you deal one more card than there are the number of players to draft. Whatever card is left, those vegetables go up in price. So if there's 2 carrots and a corn on that card, then the carrot would go up $2 and the corn would go up $1. The catch to all of that is if it goes over 5, there's a market crash, and so it goes back down to 0, so it rolls over. And it just made this really nice balance of looking at everybody's card and seeing, okay, oh, he didn't diversify, he's got a bunch of carrots, okay, let's tank it before the end of the game. And there's a little bit of table talk, figuring out whether you want to diversify or gamble on 1 or 2 vegetables. For the size of the game and the amount of time it took, it packs a big punch, and I really appreciate that. So yes, I probably will be getting that one. It would be an excellent filler game on game night. Great game. And then the last game we played was Medici, and specifically, we played the 2004 edition. This is important because it had absolutely the worst score track I have ever seen. It was just awful. I have no other way to say it. Like, every other space on it didn't have a number. Every other space was just part of the background. Really strange. The graphic design was awful. As far as the game goes, it was not bad. Not something I'm going to seek out. It's an auction game. So you go around, flip cards over, and the cards represent different goods, and they have different values on them. And whoever has the highest number of values total gets some amount of points. I think it's 30 points at the end of that auction round. Whoever has second most gets some points. And then you start moving up these little pyramids based on which cards you acquired, based on on the goods. So if you had 1 fur and 3 spices, then you'd move up 1 space on the furs and 3 spaces on the spices, and you get points from that too. So whoever is in first on the pyramid gets some points. Whoever's in second gets some points. I don't know. It was fine. I would play it again. I'm not gonna seek it out. As much as I like auction games, I don't know, something about that one, it was a little too abstract or something. Um, it was hard initially to figure out how to value things or to come up with a strategy. It might be more fun on repeated plays, but eh, and it was okay. So let's talk about the convention itself. It's a 3-day convention, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, at the Reed Conference Center in Oklahoma City. At least it was this year. I get the impression that it is growing, and I think at least for Friday it felt comfortable. So, having been to Gen Con previously, it has been. I mean, granted, I went pre-pandemic, but it was very crowded, very busy with an electric air, and this was a lot more chill. It was really laid back. The convention center was not crowded. It picked up a little towards the afternoon, but it really wasn't bad. Since it was Friday, I did not make it to any events or anything, just did gameplay. But I went to the vendor hall, wandered around. I was not super impressed. There were a couple of companies there with. Let me frame my expectations. I was hoping to see more board game companies showcasing their new games that are coming out, where you could maybe buy early copies or things like that. Didn't see much like that. There were a couple that were showcasing some of their games, but I don't think they had any of their new games. It was mostly local vendors, either just like board game stores selling from their collection of games, or different things. Like there were snacks, there were plushies. So I didn't get this at the booth, but I think whoever was making, there was a booth with a lot of nerdy plushies and stuff like this. But this is the mascot for TokenCon, Ken. Yeti, Abominable Snowman, whatever. So I picked that up as a souvenir for my daughter. The snack bar was pretty sad. It was pre-packaged snacks and drinks at exorbitant prices. As one, I expected the prices, but I was hoping that there was a little more in terms of food available than what they had. It wasn't even normal snack bar fare. It was literally just like pre-packaged snack cakes and stuff. The open gaming area was really nice. It was very comfortable. Bring a jacket if you go, and they warned about this on the page when I ordered my tickets. There's like, yeah, this can be kind of chilly. Bring a jacket. I'm glad I did. It was a little cool, but there was plenty of air. It did not have the odor that some conventions do, and it was a nice convention. I did check out the library just a little bit. They had plenty of games there. They had several that I was not expecting to see there. We almost played Bus, which is another game on my list that I've really wanted to play. Didn't get to. I think they played it after I left, maybe, but because again, 3-hour drive, so I had to head home at a reasonable hour. Overall, it was chill. It was very focused on playing games rather than the other things that you might see at other conventions. So the vendor hall was not the focus. I didn't see any cosplay while I was there. There weren't. I don't know that there were any events on Friday. I know there were some events on Saturday, but again, I didn't make it to those. But it didn't seem like that was the focus. It seemed really heavily focused on playing games. They had some play to win games. Didn't try any of those. But yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. If you're gonna go, bring a jacket, bring some snacks, bring some water, and just have a chill time. If you're looking for something big and exciting where they have huge D&D events and like escape rooms and cosplay contests and stuff, I think you're better off finding a different convention. But this one was fairly affordable and a good time. So if you're reasonably close, give it a shot. I will probably be going back next year as long as the schedule allows me to. There are two more conventions that I will likely be going to this year. Um, One is Geekway to the West in St. Louis. That is May 15th through 18th. And then also, in a lot closer to home, I will be going to AdventureCon, July 11th through 13th. So please let me know if you will be at either of those. I'd love to meet up or something, play a game. So thanks for being here. Leave a like, subscribe if this is the kind of content you're interested in. Uh, we'll catch you next time. Thanks.